guys, Cindy Flare here, and welcome back to another episode of Robocraft. And today we'll be taking a look at some techniques for Triforcing. And here are some examples that I'll be teaching you guys today. So here we are. So we're gonna take a look at 7 different examples, including one Mega SMG example. So a lot of people don't know what Triforcing is, so let's get into it. So Triforcing is very important because, well, each block is gonna break, right? So you want to make sure it's gonna stay longer. So let's take an example. So if we have an SMG shooting this way at this block's gonna go boom, right? So therefore, everything touching it will go boom too. Okay, so this one, this one, this one, and this one will suffer damage. So therefore, this will break, right? You want to limit that thing that therefore it only hits this one, and therefore it only hits that one, or it hits everything around it, but not the base block inside. As you know, base blocks are very important in Robocraft. So if this whole plate has been shot off, this half side will be broken. So you want to make sure that the Triforcing will help it stabilize the whole thing. Okay, that's a good example. Moving on next. Here's an example of what a Triforcing base looks like. Now, it may look kind of weird, but listen to me, it's really good. So Triforcing, prisms, notice how they are not touching the block. Notice how this prism isn't touching the block. Only these two blocks, those blocks were the only ones touching. Like this itself, those 4 blocks that I just took out, those were the only blocks that were touching below. So let me just repair this really quickly. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to take a pilot seat and explain. So now we have a pilot seat, right? So notice how everything's red, but only the orange thing, only here is correct. It shows that only those blocks underneath are touching. So this is one way to either Triforce your pilot seat, or maybe to do more more protection for your guns. That's a pretty good example. So moving on next. Okay, so now we're going to be taking a look at gun placement with Triforcing. So notice how this orange block is, okay, our orange block will be the base block, this carbon 6 block, with the base block of all of our guns. So if you take a look at it, only the orange is attached to it. So, but as you can see here, white blocks are attached to it. So therefore, this is actually touching it. So one thing, when this breaks, this, and this will break, causing everything to break. No one wants that. So notice how all the white blocks touch. One way to get rid of that is if you take a prism, you block it, it looks like a full block, but when you go inside, nothing's actually touched. This thing's not touching it. You can go all the way around, but that's one example we could do. But this is a very bad example because this is a squared platform. It's not very good, right? Because all you know is like all the blocks are touching this. Definitely not good. Okay, next. Alright, so here we have a classic example of a good Triforced base for a gun. So here we have a gun, and underneath we have a vertical block going down. So look at that, we're going down. So we have 2 blocks down, and this is actually surprisingly not touching it. Notice how these are prisms. Okay, notice how these are prisms, and they're actually not touching it. If you take a look at it, this is actually a prism facing out, so it looks like a full block, but it's not. So therefore, nothing's actually touching the outside. So the white part is actually more acting like a shield, blocking out all of the attacks that come to the base. So say like an SMG hits this prism, this, and this will break, but the rest will stay alive. Say another SMG hits this, boom. So therefore this, and this will break, but not the base block. Because notice how the block I just put out was like that. That was a prism. See that? So therefore, it's still not touching. So now it is exposed, but still, it will last you another hit, right? Maybe like it hit this, and this, and this will break, right? But still, you still have that gun right in front. So therefore, it's pretty useful. Here's the next example of the next Triforcing. Now this is actually one that's actually going like somewhat diagonal, going toward the front. So this can be like placed anywhere you want. It's just that it's just facing forward more. It looks a bit better, but still may not be the best. I prefer that one because that's more like vertical. This one's more vertical. So this one's because this is the same design, but it's the front. So say like an SMG hits this, and this will break, but still not the base thing. if like notice how nothing is touching the prisms around it. Right? I'm not gonna teach you guys how to build one of these, but you guys can figure it out yourself. Like, it took me like 2 minutes. So notice how all the prisms are not touching anything. So if you take out the gun right now, take out the block, not touching anything, nope. Not touching anything, nope. This one looks like it's touching something, but look again, it's a prism, so it's not gonna touch. So therefore, there actually is nothing. So this is basically a whole shield, which is really useful. Here we have a little bit more of a compact way of doing a little bit more of compact of designing a gun. So here we have basically, I would like to call this the bath because it's technically surrounding the whole thing, the whole block, without touching this, which is really useful. The reason why it's not touching this is because there's prism right here, and this prism will not touch this, and up here there's this prism right here will not touch that, which is really useful. So take a look. If we have an SMG shoot this will shoot off, yeah. And if something shoots this will fall off. But therefore, because nothing's touching, these two will fall off. But still, the gun will still be intact. Okay? So, therefore, you're going to have to attach your Triforcing in a different way, like farther away out. But, therefore, you have like a more shielded area for your base block, which is nice. So, we're going to take a look at our next example. So, our next example right here is actually one of the coolest things. Is if you take this out, it looks like a ninja star. Take a look. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It looks like a ninja star. Because all the prisms are going in one way. This is more of a cosmetic way of doing it, but still, it acts the same way. Except, this is a bit weaker. Because if you shoot this will fall off. And that's it. Because these prisms are actually not even touching these prisms. So therefore, this is very independent. So, basically, if you shoot, like, the base block, say like the base block for this side of the prism is off. Okay? If we shoot this off, this will fall off because it's only itself, because it won't be touching this part, it won't be touching this part, so which is therefore it's gonna die. But then it looks way better because it's like a tower. It looks way better, right? Look at that. It looks so cool. But unfortunately, it's not the best effective, but it looks the best. Moving on. So here we have another example, except this is actually a backwards prism. So, oh, actually, no, sorry. This is actually a rod. A rod version. So, what we have under here is actually a rod. So, this rod is very useful because rods do not touch to anything but its base. So, the base is on the other side, which is this block right here. This is the base block for the rod, and here is the base block for the rod. So, if you don't want anything to touch that thing, the gun, I would advise you to use the rods. But unfortunately, it has a lot less health because it's a shared block of health. Okay, so we have some basic Triforcing with some prisms on top. It's extra, but it looks way better. So therefore, I do it. So let's take a look at it. So if we shoot this, and this fall off. And the reason why I use blocks around it, blocks first of all are more tanky. Even though they're heavier, they're more useful. Okay, so blocks are here, and then because nothing will touch it, right? Even if you shoot everything off, still nothing's touching it because the only thing touching is this thing right here. Unfortunately, there's a prism right here, right? But yeah, technically open all the way, so it's very useful. So yeah, that's another way to use prisms. Alright, so here's a classic way of people hiding Triforcing in their bot that's really thick and you have no space for actual prisms and anything. So, we have a 3x3 cube right now, 3x3x3 cube, so 3D, but if you actually look underneath, it's actually a rod. So, if you take out the rod, it leads straight to the gun. And the rod will touch nothing by itself other than the top base block and the bottom. So, technically, unless the gun or the base gets shot off, your gun will not break, which is great. So unless if there's something with like full force hitting like this base block or hitting directly this rod, this thing will not break, which is pretty useful when you're putting it in tanks. But then again, you got to keep in mind that the depth of how far it goes down is very it's a lot, because there's 3 blocks and there's not a lot of tanks out there that's 3 blocks. Most people try to go for wider bots, so yeah, you got to keep that in mind. Okay. Alright, so here is the Mega SMG, and I've Triforced this lightly, just lightly. This is a very basic format of how to Triforce Mega SMGs. So notice how you have 3 places where you can put your little handles, like one here, one there, one there, one there, okay? So if you take that off, nothing will be touching. Let's put it back down, okay? Let's take a look. So these orange blocks are actually the base blocks. Everything white is all the support blocks that cover it up. It's like it's Triforcing, okay? I've only made this edge to make it look way better, but then it's like curving around it, which makes it more defense. So, the reason why I have rods here is to keep up, make sure that the blocks in front will stay in front unless they're actually fully shut off. Because say like, if I just have like nothing here, let's take a look. If I have nothing here, and this block breaks, and let's say that block breaks, the whole thing will fall off except that rod, but like normally the rod won't be there. So therefore I'm putting down a rod. So a rod is a good backup. So you have a rod then on top of the block, which is very useful. So on top I kind of made a little bit, like, it looks a bit better. And then that's just a cover. A cover for just this front SMG right here. And then in the back we have a little bit of like winding. And then here, it looks like something touched because it's the block, right? But no, under here's actually a prism because the prism's actually touching, not even touching this white block right here. Instead, it's actually touching the base. So therefore, this Mega SMG is actually very lightly Triforce. It can be much more better Triforce. I was really lazy. But yeah, this is a very a basic concept of how to Triforce a Mega SMG. So now I'll be teaching you how to actually Triforce a very strong gun. Okay, so now I'm going to be teaching you hand to hand how to Triforce a rail, like a tail, like a scorpion wise, like a tail that comes out from the back. So yeah, let's take a look. So notice how the rail is very long. It's gonna be difficult to have a very rugged sculpture like. So this is gonna be a nice way to have your last gun on the back, maybe a tail going up like a scorpion, right? So first of all, we have some prisms going up, and what I like to do, I like to go like this and back it up. So we're gonna go like this, this. So therefore, these prisms are actually going up with it, but unfortunately, the good thing is not touching. So basically, it's a second route going up. Okay, so we gotta go this way as well, just to make it look symmetrical and looks way better. Okay, so now that we have this up here, we're gonna go like this. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, we're gonna change this part into a block. Let's go grab a block. Okay, and we're gonna change this part to prism right here. Okay, now we're gonna have one more block out here. So now this is fully Triforced. If this gets shot off, these two parts, these two things, will still be intact. See, like this part gets shot off, this part will still be intact. And even if you even want to go crazier, you can also take a rod. And if I'm correct, which block is that? Yeah, just take a rod and go this way. So you have even more Triforcing. Or if I'm correct, you can go like this. Yes, you can. Take a look at that. That's a fully Triforced bot. So, as you can see, we have the rod. We have the 3 prisms going up, which is really efficient because there's 3 paths, and then one more on top, which is the rod. The rod underneath, of course, is touching this part of the thing. It has to be touching a block, or else these 3 prisms will be useless because they will not be touching the block. Okay. So now that we have that, we're not even done. We can add even more. So maybe we can add like prisms on top to deflect more damage off of those prisms that are actually going up. So let's do that. Go up. Maybe we can do some on this side as well, like the outside as well. Make sure there's no damage. Just make sure there's no damage spread. So now that we have that, that's good. And we also could probably go like this, if I'm correct. Oh no, wait, can you touch these? Oh, you can, but like they're not good damage. I think it was like this. Yeah, let's do it like this. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, it may look a bit weird, but definitely they'll do the job of defending. Right, so there you go. It's another one. Can you fit one in here? Nope, you cannot. So there you go. So there's a very thick Triforced tail for the rails. So this is a very good way of Triforcing the rails. If I were gonna build a rail and had a lot of CPU, of course I would do it this way because it looks absolutely beast, and definitely it will last a long time due to so much Triforcing here. If I were you, I would spread it out and put it backwards. So therefore, because if this one area is shot off by a plasma, that's it, because it's connected here as well. I would put the rod back here, So therefore, there's if the plasma has the block come by, either you gotta shoot the gun off, or you gotta shoot the front or the back, and the back off. Sorry. So therefore, it's pretty efficient, I would say. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll have to show you this episode. And next episode, I'll be going over more movement triforcing. So stay tuned for that. And I would like to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Robocraft. If you did, please click that like button and subscribe. And yeah, talk to you guys soon. Bye.